Hello students, after the Rutherford model of atom, we are on our next topic, that is Bohr's model of atom. So Niels Bohr, for his model, utilized the information regarding to the structure of atom and molecules, and he tried to improve the model which was proposed by the Rutherford on the basis of this information. Now the two major developments played the important role in the Bohr's model, and that were the first one, dual character of the electromagnetic radiations. So dual character means that electric behavior as well as the magnetic behavior of the electromagnetic radiations. And the second one is experimental result regarding the spectra. Now there are two type of nature of the waves, that is particle nature and the wave nature. So we will first understand the wave nature of the electromagnetic radiations, then after we will go for the particle behavior nature of the radiations. So earlier it was believed that the waves, whether it is the light waves or the infrared waves or gamma, X-rays, whatever the rays is, so these rays have the particle nature. Then after later on, the scientists also observed that these waves also show the wave nature. So suppose it is a diagrammatical representation in which here is z-axis, here is x-axis, and it is a y-axis, right? So the waves alternating proceed as electric wave and as well as the magnetic waves, and these both waves are perpendicular to each other. Okay, so electric wave and the magnetic waves are perpendicular to each other. So electric wave is from the z-axis to the y-axis, and the magnetic wave is from the x-axis to the y-axis, right? So I mention here, it is a electric wave, it is a magnetic wave, and it is a direction in which the waves propagate, okay, with the velocity v, and these waves propagate with the speed of light, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Now after this experiment, the conclusion which were observed were, first, direction of electric wave, magnetic wave, and the velocity or the direction in which the wave propagate are perpendicular to each other. And the second observation was, these waves move or propagate with the speed of light. So the spatial nature of these waves is that they require no medium for propagation. As sound required medium, sound cannot travel in the vacuum, there is no medium. So electromagnetic waves propagate in a place where is no medium, means they require no medium for their propagation. Now what are the different types of waves? These are gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, visible rays, infrared rays, microwaves, and radio waves. So these are the different waves which show the electromagnetic radiations. Now the sequence in which we just write these waves. The frequency of the gamma rays is highest and these waves have the lower frequency. So the rays which have the high frequency, they have lower wavelength. Okay, now we will go for the terms. Here are some terms which are used to define the characteristic of waves. The first one is the frequency, which is represented by the nu. Second is wavelength, which is represented by the lambda. And the third one is the wave number, which is represented by the nu bar. Now we only put the bar over this sign. This is nu. So this is nu bar. Now see. Here are axis on which I just draw a wave, how it propagate. Okay, now this area of the wave is known as crest and the lower area of the wave is known as trough. So the distance between these 2 points is a wavelength. These 2 points is also a wavelength, and from this point to this is also a wavelength, that is lambda. So these distances are known as the wavelength. Now what is frequency? The frequency is the number of waves that pass a given point in 1 second. So suppose in 1 second this wave propagates from here to here. So how it repeats itself means, suppose here one wave, again it repeated itself like this. So 2 waves are here. So in 1 second 2 times waves are completing itself. So its frequency will be 2. Now wave number. The wave number defined as the number of wavelength per unit length. Suppose this length from here to here is 1 meter. Okay, so this length is 1 meter. So suppose this, the length of this wave, this half wave is, or one wave is how much? That is just half of this one. So it is 1/2. Okay, and other 1/2 is here. So how can we represent it? We can represent it nu bar equals to 1 by lambda. So total length is divided by the wavelength of the wave, right? And what is speed of propagation? That is nu into lambda, means frequency into wavelength. Okay, now we will come on the topic, that is Planck's quantum theory. It is also known as the black body radiation. Here there are 2 bodies, 1 and 2. This is a black body and it is other than black. Then what will happen when any light ray or electromagnetic radiation or wave incident on this body? Then what will happen? Some part of this energy is transmitted and some of the part of the energy is absorbed inside the body and some part is reflected back, and from the absorbed portion some of the part is radiated by this body. So it all phenomena happen in a body which is not black in color. Now come to this body. This is black in color. Then what will happen? If electromagnetic radiations come near to this black body, then all the radiations will be absorbed by the black body and there will be no transmission, no reflection from this body. Only it will radiate the radiation which it has been absorbed. Okay, so it is a difference between these 2 bodies. In black body there is no transmission and no reflection. There is only 100% absorption, and then after radiation of the energy after absorbing. Now here is experiment in which it is a container in which a hole is there. Now this container is painted black inside it. So the very good source of black color is the charcoal. So it is painted black inside with the charcoal. Now when we provide the electromagnetic radiations or heat, then it is absolutely absorbed by this body. Then from this hole the radiations will be come out, and when we pass it through a prism, then what will happen? We see a spectra here. Okay, now here this line shows the wavelength of low frequency, and here it is of high frequency. So the wave which have low frequency, it will have the higher wavelength, and the wave which have the higher frequency will have the lower wavelength. Okay, so suppose here is a red color which have a higher wavelength, it means it has a low frequency. And here suppose a blue color which have a lower wavelength, it means it will have the higher frequency, right? Now if we want to plot the intensity against the wavelength, so how we will plot it? Now here we have two axes, suppose it is x and y axis. So here intensity is I and here wavelength lambda. Then it is a very common graph like this. Now here this point shows the maximum intensity. Okay, and when we go further point, suppose I2, so it will show the low intensity in comparison to the I1. So at the point lambda 1, the intensity is I1 which is high, and in lambda 2 intensity is low. Okay, so this graph is practically observed graph. Now what is the theory behind this graph? So to find out the reason or theory behind the graph, two scientists, that is Rayleigh and Jeans, come into picture to find the theory, and they work on the basis of classical mechanics to explain this theory. Now what happened when they tried to explain the theory behind this experimental graph? Then what happened? Here dotted lines show the theoretical observation of the Rayleigh and Jeans. Then what happened? Here up to this point the observation was exact, but after this for the high frequency their observation was failed. So this law of Rayleigh and Jeans was failed in explaining the high frequencies, because this graph of Rayleigh and Jeans go like this up, but it should be like this, but it is not like that. So this theory was failed to explain the high frequency and lower wavelength behind the practical observation. Now after these scientists, a scientist come, that Max Planck, which proposed a law. The law was called Planck's law of black body radiation, and according to his law he gave the theory, and according to his theory it was exactly matched with the practical thought or practical observed value. So as the Rayleigh and Jeans law was failed or theory was failed in explaining the practical value of this graph, but the theory of the Planck was successful in explaining the theory behind the practically plotted graph. Okay, so he was successful in explaining this. Now, the Planck believed that whatever the source of electromagnetic radiation which is emitted by the oscillating body, its energy cannot be possible in any amount. Its amount will be equal to the h nu, where h is Planck constant and v is frequency of the wave. So, it was believed that electromagnetic radiation cannot have energy in any amount. Their energy is fixed. And how it is fixed? It is fixed like Planck's constant multiplied by the frequency of that wave. Okay. So earlier it was believed that the waves are continuous, but the Planck said that it is not actually like that. The waves are in the form of chunks or packets which are called photons, that are energy packets, and the energy of each packet is, minimum energy of each packet is, each photon is equal to the Planck constant into frequency of that wave. Now the energy is quantized, the energy of the photon is quantized here, that is 1 h nu, 2 h nu or 3 h nu. These values cannot be in fraction, that is 1.5, 2.5, etc. Okay. Now it is a particle behavior of the wave. Now photoelectric effect. It is a next topic, that is photoelectric effect. So this effect also explain the particle behavior of electromagnetic radiation. So the effect is first observed by the Hertz in 1887. So firstly he explained it with the help of the classical physics, but his law was failed. And after the scientist came in a picture, that is Albert Einstein in 1905, and he took the help of modern physics in place of the classical physics to explain the particle behavior of the electromagnetic radiation, and it was very much successful. Now Albert Einstein took the help of Planck's quantum theory also. Now he did it is experiment of Hertz. Firstly we will explain the effect of the Hertz. So here is a vacuum tube, two plates are inserted here and it is connected to a battery. Now what happens? The circuit is not completed, so ammeter will not show any deflection. Now what happens when a light ray or radiation incident on a plate? Then what happens? It induces the plate to emit the electrons, and when these electrons emitted from this plate, they go from this side to this. And what is current? We know that current is a flow of electrons. So as the electrons are flowing inside the tube, ammeter shows the deflection that current is flowing inside the tube. Okay. Now what Hertz noticed? Hertz noticed that as soon as light incident on the plate, current produced immediately. Why current produced immediately? Because the electron emitted immediately from the plate. Secondly, he observed that on increasing the intensity of the light, the intensity of the current also increases as the number of emitted electrons also increases from the metal plate. Next, he just concluded that for each metal there is a minimum frequency for which photoelectric effect takes place. Now what is photoelectric effect? We know that photo means light, so here electric means electricity. So here electricity is passed because of the light. So light just produce the current here. So it is known as the photoelectric effect, because current is produced due to the effect of light. So what is it is called? It is called photoelectric effect, right? So for each metal there is a minimum frequency for which photoelectric effect takes place, and that minimum frequency is known as the threshold frequency, and it is denoted by the nu naught. This is called naught. Okay, now what happened? Suppose we will understand it with the help of example. These are two potassium plates. Okay, so these are two potassium plates. On first plate, suppose we incident the red light, okay, like this, and on a second plate we incident a yellow light. Then what happened? In case of yellow light, the electrons are emitted here, but in case of red light, electrons are not emitted. What does it mean? It means the red light have the low frequency and longer wavelength. Instead, the yellow light has the high frequency and lower wavelength. So we know that the waves which have the high frequency, they have high energy also. So it induces the plate to emit the electrons. But in case of red light, it does not happen, because red light have a low frequency in comparison to the yellow one. Now, what is the energy of these waves? That is, or frequency. The frequency for the red light is 4.3 to 4.6 into 10 to the power 12 hertz. Frequency of yellow light is 5.1 to 5.2 into 10 to the power 14 hertz. And the minimum energy or threshold energy or frequency for the potassium metal is 5 into 10 to the power 14 hertz. So what happened? The minimum energy which is required for the emission of the electron is this much, but the frequency or energy of the red light is less than this value. So this light is not able to emit the electron from the plate, while the energy of or frequency of the yellow light is more than this minimum energy. So this light is able to emit the electron from the plate. Okay, now kinetic energy of electron depends upon frequency of the light. Light which have the more frequency, the electron will also have the more kinetic energy, and with low frequency, electron will have the low kinetic energy. Now the failure of classical physics. According to classical physics, it is believed that energy directly proportional to the intensity. Okay, but this relation is failed to explain above phenomena. What is above phenomena? Here intensity of red light is high, but the energy of the red light is not high, because this light is not able to emit the electron from the plate, although the intensity of red light is higher than that of the yellow light. Now the frequency of yellow light is more than that of the red light, so it is able to emit the electron from the plate. So this theory was failed to explain this above phenomena here. Okay, now explanation by Einstein. Now how Einstein explained this phenomena? So he explained that with the help of the Planck's relation. What is it? It is the energy of any wave is equal to the Planck constant multiplied by the frequency of that wave. Now we have and it is also believed by the Planck that the wave is in the form of small chunks, or radiation is in form of small chunks. So here these are packets, so whose energy is equal to, it is h nu r and it is h nu y. So this is the energy of these yellow packets and this is the energy of these red packets. Now what happens, these packets or photons have the more energy than the red one, so they are able to emit the electron from this potassium plate. Okay, now minimum energy required to emit electron is, now we know that the minimum energy is the threshold energy, and threshold energy is represented by the mu naught, which we just learn it just now. So the minimum energy or threshold energy which is required to emit the electron from the plate is h nu naught. Now what happens if the frequency or energy of these packets is higher than that of this threshold energy, then what happen, how can we represent it? Kinetic energy of the electron, the kinetic energy is equal to the half the mass of electron into velocity, so it is half mv square. It will be equal to the h nu, that is energy of the wave, minus the minimum energy required to emit the electron from the plate, that is h nu naught. So when we subtract the value of minimum energy from the energy of the wave, then we get the kinetic energy of the electrons. Okay, so I hope we understand that each metal has a specific value of the threshold energy which is required to emit the electron from the metal surface. But if the frequency of the energy of the wave is lower than that of the threshold energy of the plate, metal plate, then it is not able to emit the electron from the plate, right? I hope you understand the topic.